Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji. All that means is we just bringing a particular energy into this space. So I want to look at how, the higher up you go on a mountain, the further you can see. Awareness is like that. As you develop your awareness, it's like going up a mountain. You become more aware of more things. So meditation and all that stuff, particularly meditation, will allow this increase. Very gradual, but it'll allow it in a very safe way. And as a result, you're able to see a bit further ahead. And you can see a bit behind. But your awareness is different. No longer are you seeing the car coming at you. When you go a bit further up, you can see the cars that are behind that and behind that. This is what we have been employing right from the word go. That we begin with the fear. It's like what we're going through is a grieving process from one side. So I want to go from one side. This is a deconstruction process. And then there's like a reconstruction process. So imagine that it's a wave that goes down, and then there's a wave that's going to come. So in this thing that's going down, we went from fear, from shock, disbelief, we went into fear. From fear, we went into anger, concern. From that, we went into a concern, into a kind of what I would call like a mini depression. Not quite hard hitting, but like a concern, a depression, a sadness, and then a little bit of an acceptance. But then the second thing came, and then the third thing came, and then the Christmas stuff came. And every time the intensity has been more. What started off with, let's see if we can bring the the curve down over 2 weeks. Flatten the curve. Here we are, a year into it. And I think when we first talked about this was around the 14th, 15th, 16th of February last year, and said, something's on its way, and it will affect all of us. Because you have foresight. And you can see how the economic system is going in one way, and a distraction is needed. And it's the same pattern that's been played over and over and over again. And the fact that 100 million people die along the way makes no difference to those people who orchestrate it. Makes no difference. Yeah? People are used as fodder in these big economic games. And it's changing. It used to be like this, but it's changing. It's now changing through the internet, through conversation, through the fact that we can talk. The East can talk to the West. Consciousness can tell you what the mind's about because they've been studying it for 2,500 years. In fact, for tens of thousands of years. But there's a documented evidence for 2,500 years. This is what the mind is. This is what consciousness is. Your mind can be easily influenced. You are born with a body. You are not born with a mind. Your mind is created by others, those around you, your language, your society. Right now, the mind is the mind of the fear. It's a fear-orientated mind. The fear's got intense. And out of this will come anger. It's just the way it is. Push it down, comes out. And you will notice soon enough, the month of February, as we go into spring, there is more expression of this. So all we're doing is providing some information that's time-stamped. So you can have a look back a year ago, and you can look back in a few weeks' time. And you will find that we are able to anticipate certain parts of this change. And all we're doing is to saying, how can we prepare? How can we prepare? How can we make the most out of this crisis? Yeah. What can we do to serve ourselves? What can we do where we contribute value to the universe we're in? What is it of value that I'm doing? What is it? What can you do of value sitting at home? Maybe planted something, adding value, because the little bee will come, adding value. You don't need to do anything major, like to change the world or Nobel Peace Prize or anything like that. Giving raisins to blackbirds, adding value. What do you do to add value? And if you add value, it adds value to you. No expectation. I do it because I can. I do it because I can. It's this transformation of human consciousness that we are now starting to experience. So even though it seems like we are being squeezed, even though it seems like things are getting intense, and they are, and they will, and there are other things along the way that will help shake the whole thing up. But as long as you can recognize that you and I and everyone else is part of this existence, everything is made out of only 5 elements. There's a solid bit to it, there's a liquid bit to it, there's a gas bit to it, there's a plasma bit to it, and there's a space bit to it. Everything. And everything has a start, grows, decays, what we call death, and then has a restart, decay and death, and then rebirth. It's like this, all of us. Nothing in this world is permanent. Nothing. I'll love you forever. Not a chance, mate. Not a chance. We bullshit each other and we lie to ourselves. Nothing is eternal. The only moment that's eternal is this moment. And in this moment, we can learn that we can still love and we can still enjoy life. But the only difference is, it ain't yours. It doesn't belong to you. No one belongs to you. You belong to no one. Even your body isn't yours. That's a wonderful thing about life. Like a child. A child is born and it's all it sees is everything's a toy. Mum's a toy, dad's a toy. Go on, get on your back, I'm going to ride you. Everything's a toy. The only difference is, it's when we start taking life seriously that things belong to us. Things have to be this way, things have to be that way. No. Look at where we are, and this is how we begin to notice what the mind is. The mind is this thing that society trains you in. If you're a Christian, it'll make you a Christian. If you're born in a Sikh family, it'll make you into that Sikh thing. If you're born in a Hindu family, whatever. Have no, whatever. Scientist, whatever. You're born within musicians, you become someone who's a musical individual. Whatever you're born in is what influences what you become. So you can't be the mind. And once we begin to recognize what the mind is, we also begin to recognize that it can be manipulated very quickly with the fear language, with all this stuff. And if we are not aware of the mind, then we become accustomed to living in that prison, which is why I asked you the question, why are you wearing the masks? Because the mind has been told to do it. The mind has been told to do it. And the mind says, yes, I'll do it. Because it fears. It trusts the one that's telling it what to do. Ask yourself the question, why are you doing it? Just ask yourself the question. And if you don't know why, don't do it. But if you can say, yep, I'm doing it because of this. I'm doing it because other people feel a bit freaked out if I walk in there. Fine, at least you know why you're doing it. Yeah, I'm not saying don't do it. All I'm saying is ask yourself why, so we become truthful to ourselves. And in becoming truthful to ourselves, all that lies just falls apart. Much bigger picture than just, oh man, this is just too much. How do I deal with it? Much bigger picture. And a picture that you are blessed as I am to live in. You cannot pay for this stuff. Do you reckon you could have written a movie about it? That this is what it is. And this, no, there are much bigger impact of this thing. So life is like that. It has a sense of humor. We don't see it, but it's a sense of humor. Did you think that you were all together and everything was in your control? No. Tell your story, all right? And then we'll finish. Okay, so this story is that, so my teachings comes from a man named as Guru Nanak, and he was born in 1469, incredible human being. And when he went to Baghdad, so he traveled like 66,000 kilometers from what I remember. Not that I was with him. But he went into like China, blah, 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 in Middle East. So when he went to the Middle East, he went to Baghdad. And in Baghdad, there was a man called Fakir Dastagir, right? So he was the head honcho there. And so he was giving some sermon about heaven and all that kind of stuff. And Guru Nanak said, I don't think that's right. There are infinite heavens, there are infinite earths, there are infinite universes. You can't say there are 7 or there are 10 or there are 100. And so he says, well, if you think you're so clever, I'll ask you 3 questions. Right? So he says, question number 1. So the man sitting on his throne, and it said that Guru Nanak sits on the floor with his colleague. And the man says, all right, tell me, if there's only one, if everything is one, what was there before one? Good question. Yeah. Second question. If you say that this one is godliness, the godly principle, the spiritual principle, where is it? Another good question. Third question. What does it do? What does this spiritual thing do? 3 powerful questions. So Guru Nanak says, well, all right. And there was a tray of some jewels of sorts. So Guru Nanak asked this Fakir Dastagir, he says, why don't you count them? And he goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Says, no, got it wrong, mate. And he goes, no, try again. So Guru Nanak asks him again, can you count it? It says 1, 2, 3. And he says, no, you got it wrong. So the man asks, he says, I tell you what, when I make the mistake, you stop me. He goes, 1. He says, you're wrong there. Now you know what came before 1. Emptiness. That was the first answer. Second answer, where is this spiritual existence? And so Guru Nanak asks for some milk. And he said, but make sure it's pure. So when someone brings a container of milk, and he says, oh no, there's something in it. And the man goes, maybe one of my disciples thought this guy's a bit too clever, so maybe I'll put something in it. He said, I'll go and get it. So he goes out, gets whatever, gets the milk, brings it in, puts it in front, and he says, it's pure. And Guru Nanak says, no, it isn't. He says, well, what's in it? He says, butter. You have to whisk it to see the butter. And the same is for the mind. You have to go beyond it to see what you are. The butter, the essence, the consciousness. So he thinks, wow, that's a pretty deep answer. So he says, look, you're a clever bloke. You sit on my chair, let me sit at your throat, at your feet, because this is how wisdom is transmitted. Wisdom is always transmitted in this tradition that the individual who's providing the wisdom always sits above the one at the bottom. And he said the third question was, what does this spiritual principle do? And he says he does this. He goes, what's at the bottom makes it go up. What's at the top makes it go down. And that's what we're about. Day goes into night, night goes into day. Life goes into non-life, non-life goes into life. That's the way it is. Existence, once we recognize that we are in it, of it, we can't be anything else. You can wear whatever clothes you want, you can wear whatever ideas you want. Even the mind is just like a cloak. We need to drop all that stuff. Only way forward, my friends. Only way forward. Right? And I say this not because it's easy to do, and I know how hard it is. But there's a deconstruction that needs to go on. Need to let go of the old. Need to look on what we have in front. And recognize that your meditation isn't now just about, oh, I'm feeling calm. No. It's to know what you are. And it's to know that there is something about you that is beyond the mind, beyond the body, beyond the emotions, which we call awareness. Yeah. Shall we get in? Yeah. So one of the things that we introduced a few weeks ago was looking at ourselves, looking through the body scan like a diagnostic process. So a friend of ours, which I mentioned before, when she was doing some of this stuff a couple of years ago, she started to notice that there was a sensation in a particular part of her tongue. And over the years where she mapped this stuff, she found that it became an illness of a sort. And she's had to have it removed. So when we look at, so meditation isn't just about the mind anymore. It's now looking at the body, looking at what's going on in my body right now. And if there's a pain or an ache that's been there for a few days, need to have a look at it. That's all there is to it, right? And there are things we can do, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, to help get the body moving. Give it the right resources, it'll sort itself out, right? But health begins with the mind. So let's begin. So we're going to do the body scan, but we're going to do it with our intention of having a look at ourselves like a X-ray, like a scanner. So if you just straighten your back, draw a slow, deep breath in, and pull your shoulders back. So we're going to go through a little bit of protocol. It's always useful to take a minute or so, or certainly a few moments, to look at your posture. Make sure your back is straight, upright, but not rigid. And just make sure your neck feels comfortable, neck and head. Pull your shoulders back a little bit. Notice that your chest feels open. And as you breathe in, begin to get a sense of yourself. Notice that you are within your body. Notice that you can look at the darkness behind your eyelids. And as you breathe in again, bring this focus so you get a sense of your whole body as best as you can. So try not to imagine it, try not to think about it, just sense it. And as you sense it, notice if there's anything in particular that you're drawn to. Maybe you're somewhere in the body it feels a bit hard, tight, warm, cold. Just a little superficial look at our body. Now take your focus to the chair. And as you sit on the chair, allow the flesh on your body to relax a little bit, to soften a bit, so you're comfortable. Notice there are sensations where your body makes contact with the chair. As you breathe in, become aware of your hips. And on your next breath out, see if you can bring your focus to your thighs. So you can just sense them. Okay? And then from your knees, on your next breath out, you move down towards your ankles. And then from your ankles, you move down to your feet. And then the soles of your feet. See if you can bring your focus there. As you breathe in, come back to the chair again. And again, just notice how well you're supported. And let's just locate ourselves here and now. So notice that the chair is supported by the ground beneath it. And that's all where you can be. You can't be anywhere else. And the sky above you, the ceiling above you is exactly where you can be. Can't be anywhere else. And the air that you breathe is the air that's in front of you. Can't be anywhere else. And if you notice your environment, whether you feel cold or warm, can only be as it is where you are. And as you breathe in, coming back to the chair you're on, notice that this moment connects you to all the moments before it. And this moment connects you to all the moments that ever will be. In other words, you can't be anywhere else. You are where you are. Notice the chair beneath you. Now you bring your focus up your lower back. And again, take your time, just notice how it feels there. No commentary, no judgment, no self-diagnosis, just what sensations are present in my lower back. As you breathe in, bring it up towards your middle back, and you hold it there. And begin to notice that as the breath comes in and the breath goes out, that there is movement. Just see if you can pay attention to that movement for a few moments. And you'll notice that with the movements, there are sensations around the chest. See if you can notice that. And again, notice if your chest feels tight or if it feels loose, open. As you breathe in, bring this focus up towards your shoulder blades. Again, we scan the shoulder blades as best as we can. Begin to notice anything that's present there. Tightness, an ache, a pain, anything. Bringing your focus up to your shoulders, and particularly around your neck. Notice this part of the body and see if you can get any sense of how it feels there. On your next breath out, bring your focus down from your shoulders towards your elbows. From your elbows, you move down towards your wrists. The palms on your hands. Notice the fingers on your hands. Bringing your focus to the back of your neck. Scan the back of your neck from the top to the bottom as best as you can. And as you pull your chin in, you'll notice the back of the neck stretches. Bringing your focus now towards your eyes. You want to take a moment to notice what's going on behind the eyes, if we can. Notice if they feel tense, tender. Just scanning them is enough to allow this part of the body to begin to relax. And as you scan, as you notice the darkness, allow this part of the body to soften. Bringing your focus now to your tongue. Notice how it feels. Does it feel tight? Does it feel loose? Allow it to soften. Notice the sensations on the roof of your mouth. Notice the sensations within your mouth. Bringing your focus now to your face. And you can begin with your lips. Bring your focus around your lips. Notice the sensations that are present there. Hold your focus there. And then very gently, as you breathe out, you begin to look, extend your focus towards your cheeks. Becoming aware of your eyes. Becoming aware of the forehead. Now moving your awareness towards your ears. And now moving your awareness towards your jaw. And as you breathe out, relax. On your next breath in, once again coming back to your body. And with the light of your awareness, scanning the top to the bottom, just notice if there's anything dominant there now. On your next breath in, bring your focus to your chest. Notice the movement. How do you feel in this moment of now? See if you can label how you feel. Is this moment enough for you, or is there something missing? And if there's something missing, what is it? How do you feel? Do you feel settled, or do you feel unsettled in this moment now? Does this moment feel peaceful, or are you agitated? On your next breath out, open your awareness and begin to listen to the sounds that are in this room. Just listening. Listening. When you're ready, bring your focus just beneath your nose and begin to watch your breath. When you find that your focus has drifted, you've started thinking about something, or my voice has distracted you, notice the distraction, bring your focus gently but firmly back to your breath. Holding it there with a little bit of effort. Allowing the breath to breathe by itself. And if you become distracted by your thoughts, notice them, bring your focus back to your breath with the intention to watching your breath as it comes in, as it goes out. That's your commitment to yourself. Stay with your breath. Notice that your breath has 4 parts to it. There's an in-breath, a tiny little gap, and then the out-breath, and a tiny little gap. As best as you can, see if you can notice these 4 parts of your breath. Stay with your breath. Now bring your focus to your out of breath in particular and begin to follow it all the way till the end until it stops completely. And when it stops, there's a tiny little gap before the in breath begins. See if you can notice that. Allowing each out breath to move you deeper and deeper into this moment. Stay with your breath, following your out breath all the way till the end. Stay with your breath. Notice how you're breathing now. How does your breath feel? Does it flow easy or does it flow irregular? Does the in breath feel the same as the out breath? Remember, all we're doing is just experiencing. We're not trying to work things out. The experience of the in breath compared to the experience of the out breath. Does your breath feel as if it's slow or does it feel it's fast? Stay with your breath. Does your breath feel slow or does it feel fast? Stay with your breath. Does your breath feel cool or does it feel warm? Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. Now bringing your focus to the sound of your breath as best as you can. Listening to the in breath as it comes in, listening to the out breath as it goes out. Listening as intently as you can. Listening to the in breath as it comes in, listening to the out breath as it goes out. Does the in breath sound the same as the out breath? Does the start of your breath sound the same as the end of your breath? On your next breath out, once again, just opening your awareness and allow all the sounds around you to simply come towards you. You don't have to look for them. Listening. 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 Notice how you feel in this moment of now. Notice the stillness, notice the silence. Notice that you have awareness, that you know it's still, you know it's silent. And if your mind is racing, you know it's racing. If it feels peaceful, then focus on the peace. If it feels calm, focus on the calmness. And beyond our thoughts, beyond our bodies, beyond our emotions, we have this unchanging awareness, ever present, eternal, always safe, and always whole. Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose and just sit with your breath. Allowing the breath to breathe by itself. Using the breath as an anchor to hold your focus. On your next breath out, see if you can become aware of your whole body, expanding your awareness from your breath to the whole body. Notice how still the body feels. Get a sense of your body as best as you can. Notice that you're sitting in the same place, on the same chair. You can sense the sensations when the chair makes contact with your body. You can sense your thighs all the way down to your feet. Your back is still straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Eyes are still closed. Mouth is still closed. Your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. And now as the breath comes in, you can sense your body. And as the breath goes out, you can sense your body. In a few moments, you will hear the sound of another bell. And this will be the end of our session. But before that, just notice your experience. Notice that the whole existence functions by itself. And notice your unchanging awareness that is timeless, beyond fear, beyond hate, beyond anger, ever present, unborn, always present, moment by moment. No different to the source itself. Use the bell to draw a few deep breaths in and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes.